Hello, and again, welcome to Bit Depth. I'm Santiago Ramones. Sitting perpendicular to me is Chase Hampton. What's up?
Yeah.
What do you do?
What do I do? I do me. I'm a bad motherfucker. I don't know. I really don't do much. People seem to be under the impression that, like, I'm this crazy, heady musician that, like, knows everything, but I sit around and fucking watch anime all day, play video games, listen to music. I go to class. Man, it feels like you start getting to the routine of the semester, like life just starts blending together day by day and just becomes dreary.
Okay, but you go to class.
Yeah.
What do you go to class for?
I go to class for music, I guess. I'm a drum performance major at the Acom at UCO. Yeah, people think I'm good to the point that, like, in my speech class this Monday, somebody was like, hey, I have a friend at ACM that says you're fucking amazing at drums. Like, verbatim, that's what they said. And I looked at my teacher, and I was like, I told you. People know. I sound like a fucking asshole right now.
No, I mean, as far as I can tell, you just told the truth.
I don't know, like, I try to be humble about myself as a musician because, quite frankly, in the grand scheme of things, I'm just okay, you know.
Sure.
I'm only 19, but until I'm, you know, like my heroes, I'm nothing, in my opinion. But I guess in context of my peers, people seem to think I stand out, but I don't pay attention to that. My brother told me not to take compliments for granted, but I do.
Sure. I mean, when did you start playing drums?
I'd say the 6th grade.
Nice.
What happened was, you know, band was coming up, and I'd always been into music since I was a kid. My dad was in band when he was a kid. He always played me on his records when I was younger. My brother's been a musician his whole life. My mom is an artist. So, you know, I've always been around the arts, and when it came time in 6th grade, I wanted to do band. And I wanted to play saxophone originally, which is weird, because, like, how old are you when you're in the 6th grade? Like, 12? And, like, I was inspired by John Coltrane as a 12-year-old, which isn't okay.
I mean, it's not common for any 12-year-old nowadays to listen to jazz in general, so.
It's not common for any 20-year-old to listen to. I usually find that in 6-year-olds. Yeah, I wanted to play saxophone and be like Coltrane, and my brother's like, no. You should try out percussion. Like, he called me the week before tryouts, and I was like, what? Yeah, you should play percussion. Okay. I mean, I just listened to him because, as far as I knew, as a 12-year-old, my brother was the greatest musician on the planet.
Yeah.
You know?
What's your age relation to your brother?
Let's see. He's 12 years older than me.
Okay.
I'm 19, so he's 32, 31. Fuck, I don't know. He's 31 now. He's actually my half-brother. He has a different father than me. My father is white, and his father is Puerto Rican. And my brother's name is Heath D'Angelo Nieves. He's my hero.
Dang.
So if I ever send you this podcast, D'Angelo, I'm giving you a shout out in like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, there you go. So did you like percussion?
Yeah. I mean, like, I went in there and, like, I aced it without even, like, thinking about it. I aced the tryout. You know, I led I was pretty much the best until high school, and then, like, I had an equal as far as, like, an equal, like, level of drummer.
Yeah.
And then since then, you know, you come to college, and, yeah, you're not the best anymore, but you certainly have, like, everyone has their own qualities which they stand out. Shit, man, when I think about it, like, I'm pretty much the only dude from my graduating class that still does music. Everyone else just stopped.
Yeah.
And
it's weird to say that, like, because, I mean, especially whenever you are in school, in band, in, like, middle school or high school, it's, like, their entire world, you know?
Yeah.
And then just, like, graduate and, all right, I'm done.
It's like, I always knew, though, that, like, I could always tell that nobody really took music as seriously as I was taking it.
Mm-hmm.
As pretentious as that sounds, it's just like no one was educating themselves about, not like as far as like playing wise, technicality, music theory, but as far as just like the history and trying to find new music. It's like no one else was doing that in high school.
Yeah.
They just wanted to fucking listen to pop punk and go to football games, I guess. I don't know.
So you did stay in band through high school?
Yeah.
Marching band?
I was the center, snare, and drumline for 2.5 years. Pretty much became like the face of the band by the time I was senior. There's a few funny stories in that. You want to hear?
Sure. We got time.
Let's see. I think I was a junior. It was like the first full year I took over as center, snare. And at my high school, Enid High, the cheer and palm and drumline had a strange relationship. I always described it as like a one of those girls who just, this is going to sound terrible. I'm trying to think of how to say this without being like just terrible. It's like the people, like a girl who enjoys being treated bad, and that was like the entire cheer and palm, and I was the dude that treated them bad, because they would constantly be begging me to like play certain songs at certain games, to go to certain activities, and like I would just treat them like trash. I mean, like as far as you can, like directly treat relative strangers as trash. But one time they, what happened? I swear, like we had stolen some. I was a real grade A shit poster in high school. I had convinced Cheer and Palm that we were no longer going to play this pep song called Bula, and it's their favorite song to dance to. I have no idea why. It's kind of a boring song. And I convinced them that we were no longer going to play it, and like the head of Cheer and Palm like came up to me before a game, before we all marched over to the stadium. They were like, "Why are we not playing Bula anymore? What's this I hear about that?" And I looked at her for a second, and just without like even thinking, I snapped to a freshman who was on quads, and I just go, "It's his fault," and I take off running. And like I came back like an hour later, and he was like, "They almost killed me, man. They literally almost beheaded me." Just constant trolling of them. We would always try to play things that were like too fast for them to dance to.
Yeah. No, I mean I loved band less so because of the music, but more because of the people.
Yeah, it was the opposite for me.
But I mean, I kind of realized the other day that like there was sort of a disconnect between my taste in like classical music and my taste in contemporary music.
Yeah.
Has that always been like a separation, or is it just like one whole thing for you?
For me, I always like I said, I was a shithead in high school, and like I was just adamant that classical music was terrible in high school simply because it hadn't been done for so long. I was like, if it mattered, it'd still be going, and people would still care. But like, no one gives a shit about neoclassical. You can't tell me John Cage sitting there and farting for 3.5 minutes is something revolutionary. But I've come to appreciate classical. As far as like what I'll actually listen to, I prefer, like minimalism and like more modern takes on that. John Riley, it's Terry Riley, and just like the newer guys. Even though I shit on neoclassical before, I have very niche taste. Now I always tell people that like I think Mozart and Beethoven are probably the greatest musicians ever lived. Does that mean I like listening to it? No. But I think they're probably. I mean, you can't tell me someone who's like completely deaf and just writing symphonies based on his intuition alone, and it coming out as being like some of the greatest music ever. You can't tell me he's not the greatest musician ever. He's deaf. Like, he didn't even have to hear it and he knew how good he was. Like, that's insane. That's basically... Beethoven was the Kanye of whatever he lived.
Yeah. So, I mean, what did you listen to? Because obviously, like, again, band just takes up so much of your life that... What did you listen to outside of practicing, if you even practiced.
No, I never practiced.
I didn't either.
Especially not as percussion. We just showed up and played.
Yeah.
In high school, I think my freshman year, I was totally into hip hop, and I was starting to scratch the surface of like the real gems and underground hip hop, but I was mainly into like classic '90s stuff and focusing on like the production of it, like the sampling. Sampling to me is like the most underappreciated art of modern music, just because people go, oh, they stole a loop of music, they have no creativity. No, you know how, go listen to a fucking Jay Dilla song and listen to the shit he does, and that's like, sometimes he won't even like edit the song, he'll just like chop it up and put it in a different order and make something new out of it, and he hadn't even like messed with it in any way as far as like changing the key or speeding it up and down.
Yeah.
Like, sampling can get really heady, and I was real into that. And Kanye came out with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, as we all remember, back in 2010, and that album was fucking nuts. Power specifically, and I was still just a kid, that song specifically caught me. And I remember going through on whosampled.com, the greatest website on earth, one day, and I looked up Power and saw this song called 21st Century Schizoid Man. And this is before Robert Fripp began taking all music of King Crimson off of the internet. And I listened to the song, and I ended up listening to the album and just being bewildered. I had never heard anything like it, and that dove me into progressive rock for like my first 3.5 years of high school.
Yeah.
I was just a total prog rock, whatever they call it. Eventually, by the time I started leaving my senior year, I started getting into more experimental, I was getting out of progressive rock. I've grown out of it by now. I remember I used to be pissed because like people thought that's the only thing I listened to, which it was mainly in high school, but like I definitely had more I listened to.
Yeah. Not where, but how did music become important to you as opposed to, other people like dogs or something? I don't know.
Do what?
How did music specifically become important to you?
Man, I don't know. It was a gradual realization by the time I became a senior.
Mm-hmm.
When I was going through high school, I was convinced I was going to go to Oklahoma State and do some fucking aerospace engineering because I fucking loved planes and shit. And I was good at everything. I could have done anything, I think, I wanted to if I would have set my mind to it. But like leading up the summer before my senior year, I just started thinking about what I wanted to do. I started thinking about how my entire life had been based around music, and I just hadn't considered it.
Yeah.
I had been in band for fucking 6 years at that point. I thought about what really got me into music was being a little kid, my dad playing records for me on his vinyl player. I think the first record I ever heard was probably fucking Power Slave by Iron Maiden because that was my favorite band when I was before school.
Yeah.
I just started to realize like how much music really mattered to me, and that like my entire junior year I was denying it. I was trying to deny it, going, oh, that's not something that's possible. Someone can't have a career in music. The statistics are too much against you. But by the time I became a senior, I just realized, like, fuck it, man. Like, it's what I love.
Yeah.
Fuck the statistics. I could be fucking dead behind an alley, but if I played a show the night before, I probably died happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather die having a heart attack in the middle of a show when I'm 80 than, rotting away in a retirement home.
Yeah.
I just love it.
It
was a slow realization.
Cool. How did you start playing drums specifically?
So just percussion?
Yeah.
I think, if I remember correctly, because we weren't allowed to play the set in 6th grade.
Yeah.
I started taking lessons. My brother wanted me to take lessons with this guy named Tim Copeland in Enid. and he's an ex-cop, but he's also an amazing drummer. Tim had said I was too young when I first tried, so he recommended me to someone who was in like a senior in high school at the time, and I was taking lessons from him, and every once in a while we'd play on the set. And once I graduated from the 6th grade, my parents, believe it or not, like this pretty much got me started on the track to drumming.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what people say. My parents got me Rock Band.
Nice.
And that for sure, like, just that. Obviously, you can't learn how to play guitar from Rock Band.
Yeah,
but you can definitely learn.
It's pretty. I mean, the hitting a thing in time.
Yeah, exactly. Like the drums, like you learn hand-eye coordination and foot coordination.
Yeah. From
playing the drums on Rock Band, and that all that got me started on the path. By the time I got into 7th grade, because when I left 6th grade, that we were still in elementary, and that was like the last year they had 6th grade in elementary in my town. Mm-hmm. So when I got to the 7th grade, instead of being bottom dog, I was like middle. And I tried out for the jazz bands and made it. And I was the lead drummer in the 7th grade jazz band, and then the lead drummer in the main jazz band in the 8th grade.
Yeah.
And I did that from middle school through high school. It's so gradual, you don't even think about when you start doing it.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you have to play jazz and jazz band, obviously, but what did you spend your time mostly playing, and how did that sort of become what you play now, like outside of that?
The thing is, when I was in jazz band, we had so many drummers all the time that like I ended up becoming a master of like hand percussion and auxiliary percussion.
Yeah.
So like congas, bongos, all that, shakers.
Tons of fun.
Just because I thought it was more fun than sitting down and playing boring jazz songs with like less than
Kick,
stellar
right,
musicians. You know what I mean? So I always let the other drummers play just because I wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
And jazz drumming is probably my weak point as far as that goes. I think the first song I learned how to play on the drums was "In Bloom" by Nirvana. So it wasn't like I never like went for a style of drumming. I always just
tried to play
played the music I liked is what it started out as. Mm-hmm. And then I started considering what drummers do I like. And again, it wasn't I was going for style. I wanted to play my favorite drummers, what they were playing. So it started out with like Dave Grohl and what's his name, Mitch Mitchell from the Jimi Hendrix Experience, and I just learned more and more and more about new music and different drummers.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think of like a good way to get you into like what you're doing now, but like how does playing music at ACM differ from what you were doing in high school?
It's a lot more relaxed, I'd say, because instead of it being everyone's up their own ass about competitions, seasonal competitions every year, it's you just show up with people with different tastes who at least have some interest in music. I feel like band kids are like, they're not even people, man. They're zombies. They like don't even like music. They're just in there to see other band kids.
Yeah.
And at least you're with people who have some sort of interest in ACM, and you just play different music. Like I said, it's a lot more relaxed. I feel like, at ACM, not everyone's a master musician, but they're like adept enough because they cared enough to go to music school. You know what I mean? So there's like a certain level of quote-unquote professionalism in people's playing.
Yeah. Unlike
high school, which is like no one's good at all, including me. I was terrible in high school.
What's your goal as a drummer?
See, the thing is, I feel like it's not even something I feel. So many people have told me, including like my mentors, like my very accomplished mentors have told me, man, you can be a legend if you want to. You can be like one of the best drummers, blah, blah, blah. But I satisfy myself every day as a drummer. I'll post on Facebook, I don't think I'm good enough or I don't care about my playing, but like I satisfy myself. I don't find myself wanting to be the next Tony Williams. I don't find myself wanting to inspire I want to inspire people to play music, you know? That's my number one thing. But like I don't want to be known as a drummer. I am trying to move away from the stigma that drummers are dumb and all they can do is drum, you know?
Sure.
When you ask most drummers at ACM any like music questions, like as far as anything past drumming, they won't know what to tell you. Whereas like I pride myself on being like one of the better, say, songwriters among all the students, let alone drummers. You know, I try to educate myself, and I want to be remembered as a musician, not a drummer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone who can do it all.
Yeah. Do you have like a career goal, I guess, to be in a band or something? I don't know.
I don't have a career goal. I have a life goal, I would say. Like, I have things I'd like to do as far as, like, career, but I don't have a goal. Like, I'd like to play, say, session on, like, a Kendrick Lamar album. I'd like to back up some group I like live, some artist I like, this and that. I want to play music festivals. But that's not, you know, I don't really call it a career as far as music goes. Like, my life goal is I want to be remembered. I want to inspire other people to play music like my heroes inspire me. Like, I want to give that feeling to tons of people. Like, I've gotten that feeling from others. I don't remember the first thing I said. What was the first thing?
Inspire people.
That was the second thing.
Okay.
The first thing was I want to be remembered.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make an album that people remember artistically. It's people go, oh, it's 2016, everything's been done already. Well, fuck that. That's bullshit. How's everything been done already all of a sudden in October of 2016 when it hadn't in the past fucking, I don't know, millions of years? Humans have been around for millions of years.
I mean, not necessarily.
Earth.
Sapiens. Yeah, Earth, sure.
Not everything has been done. There's no way. Like, not everything had been done when Beethoven did his bullshit. Not everything had been done with my obscure bands I like of the 1900s that did it.
Sure.
I wouldn't say that I love Death Grips. That's my favorite band of the 2010s, and people try to compare them to Dalek and Clipping. It's like, no, man. Like, they're really their own thing. Like, shit, you can make new shit.
Yeah.
And I want to be remembered as somebody who made new, unique, and rememberable shit that will inspire others to make theirs.
For, like, if you were making an album, like, would it be Chase or would it be, you know, other people that you want to work with?
Man, I don't know. It depends on what kind of project I'm doing. I would love to just release something that I wrote totally by myself. I'd love to make something out of all the ideas that my brother and I have bounced off of each other over the past few years, although he's living in South America right now, so I don't know when that will happen. But it will happen eventually. I think when me and my brother finally touch ground together, we'll make something crazy. I have tons of friends who want to make music, and
yeah. I mean, do you have more motivation to lead the thing, or would you rather sort of help?
I would say lead. Probably my greatest musical hero, in my opinion. Okay, so I said Beethoven's the greatest musician earlier today.
Well, yeah,
well,
but
my most influential is Miles Davis. He was a fucking general, man. Like, he was a commander of musicians. And although I don't see myself being as crazy and mean as Miles Davis, I do feel myself being a sort of band leader like him. Like, in jazz bands, when I did care, you know, it depended on the day, but when I did care, I often found myself telling the other students about jazz because they didn't know a single thing, and I'd be like, no, you see, like this and this. At ACM, sometimes the teacher will be gone, and I'll end up having to like lead the band. Well, I have to lead the band a lot anyway because I have to count everybody in. But yeah, Miles Davis is my biggest hero, so I feel like it could be something I lead.
Yeah. I mean, do you think it's hard finding musicians that will be led?
No. I mean, I'm not going to call myself a leader, but I would say if I were to be one, I think that a leader has qualities that doesn't matter who it is, they're going to listen. You know
Sure.
what I mean? It's not like you're commanding. It's like someone steps up that has an idea that other people agree with and they want to follow this idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like commanding other people and like searching out. It's like you find like-minded people that will listen to you and follow your idea.
Yeah. What's the goal of music to you?
The goal of music?
Yeah.
Itself?
Yeah.
Goal of music. Man, I don't know what to think about that. It's like, I think the goal of music is just to express. It's like your fifth limb. It's just an extension of you as a person.
Yeah.
Whoever writes that. I mean, that's what I think the true goal of music is. Of course, there's, very manufactured pop music, and as impressive as it is, those writers write for these products, and like they make stuff that they know is going to be hits, and like millions of sheep will fall for it and like buy it. And as impressive as it is to write that kind of stuff, I don't think that's the true goal. I feel like the true goal of music is for a man or woman to express themselves.
What's your way of expressing yourself musically?
I don't think I've found it yet, just because like I'm so caught up in school and work that like when I do have free time, I find myself watching shows or like watching shows on the internet, watching football, playing games, or listening to music, because that's my only downtime. And I feel like I need to start writing music in my downtime more. And because like you only get better every time you do something. Yeah. And I feel like the more I start doing it when I do have free time, the closer I'll come to expressing myself as a musician. Because I listen to so much stuff that I have so many different ideas. Like on the one hand, I feel like right now America needs another band like Fugazi and who's that other band that I think is like one of two intelligent punk bands, because there's not many, most punk bands, they're actually kind of dumb. But I think we need another band like Fugazi, like someone who knows what they were talking about. Oh, like Rage Against the Machine that was the other band. Godspeed, Black Emperor, they're not punk, but we need another band that can call out the bullshit that's happening in the world right now and know what they're talking about. Yeah. Because most bands, they call it out, but they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Sure. Like, they'll call out something's wrong, but they couldn't tell you what is right. Yeah. I feel like we need that right now. And then that's just like from like a political standpoint. Like musically, like I have all kinds of crazy ass ideas. Like right now I've been wanting to mix like bossa nova and Brazilian pop, which is like MPB from like the 70s and stuff. I want to mix that with like shoegaze, or I want to mix like krautrock and Afrobeat, like bunch of world influence stuff that I feel like was untapped and like forgotten. Because it was like just lightning in a bottle. Yeah. And rock's dead to me, okay? Like straight hard classic rock needs to die. Because it's a husk at this point. It's like jazz. Those two genres, man, like they played out their part in history. But like it's time for them to be laid to rest. And I mean, I'm talking about just straight rock. Subgenres, I'm all for, because there's a ton of untapped potential. Sure. But straight, like, people just making hard classic rock, like, shit needs to die. Zeppelin was a thing because of their time. Like, they could never do anything like that again. What was the question?
No, you kept going. That's sort of the point of having the question to begin with. Another good one is just, what role does technology and electronics have in the music that one you would make, but just music in general?
No, I always hear older people who are fans of rock, which, like I said, is dead. I hear them say that, like, oh, look at this fucking asshole EDM jerk off. All he has is a fucking computer. He doesn't know how to write music. First of all, if you fucking, like, think about what you're saying for a second. To make music, you have to know how to make music. You can't just magically press a button and a computer makes music for you.
Sure.
These motherfuckers, like, they're well educated as far as, like, music theory goes. Like, they know how to play instruments.
Sure.
They can't just press a button. I think electronics are the future. I think the future is blending electronics and conventional instrumentation.
Mm-hmm.
It's been done before. It's been done for the past 100 years, but
Yeah.
it needs to be perfected. It's been experimented, but it's never been perfected.
Yeah.
I think one of the closest times we've ever come to perfecting it is this album called Velocity Design Comfort by Sweet Trip. It's one of my top 10 favorite albums. And, Jesus Christ. Like, that's an album people need to go listen to if they want to hear what I'm talking about when I say blending conventional instrumentation and electronics, because it's something you can't really put into words, but if you know what you're talking about, like, you know.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that kind of stuff goes outside just playing drums, obviously.
Yeah.
That, I mean, do you see yourself, like, making most of your music not on drums?
Of course. I think all music I write will always be, like, on point and, like, way ahead as far as, like, percussion, drums, and rhythm goes. But, you know, I can play piano. I can write on stuff. I'm trying to learn how to play guitar in the next year so I can record my own stuff that I come up with. Everything I write, you know, I can write fucking 12-part symphony if I wanted to.
It's just, I mean, the level of skill is just how long it'll take you to make it. Jumping into the other side of this, we exist in the universe.
Yeah.
How do you think we do that?
Well, it's a strange conflict I have with myself, and I think about it often. I almost started doing the Ben Carson thing. Have you ever heard Ben Carson talk?
Not much.
Okay, you remember who he was, the crazy black dude who ran for president? I loved him. You see, the thing is, Ben Carson, he would call out the boogeyman, Saul Alinsky, at the Republican National Convention, and he would scare the hell out of people. And you can't do that in the political world. You can't name drop actual problems. You have to keep the people quiet. Okay, I have this conflict with myself. I believe in God, but I'm also nihilistic. Like, I've been nihilistic for a while, and I've also believed in God for a while. And I think recently I've come to think, instead of, like, just my existence itself being pointless, all existence being pointless, everything, everyone, I feel like I have a life. I don't necessarily, like, care about it. I just kind of move through it, and people seem to enjoy me, so I'm doing something right. And I just feel like, I have a life for a reason, but in the grand scheme of things, my existence doesn't impact what's going to happen. I think, one of my life goals is to be remembered, to inspire others, to make, like, an album that everyone will remember, but it's very short history. How long do people remember? How long before our children fucking blow each other up with nicks? How long will music be around as far as, like, recorded music before everything is gone, everything disappears? And when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, that's very it's not a very long time at all. You know, we're not here for very long. People fucking supposedly live for 200 years aren't here for very long in the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
I can enjoy while I'm here, trying to impact people, trying to make something that is heralded, but I do accept that eventually it won't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how long that will be, that's beyond me. It could be 1 year after I die, or fucking 250 million.
That's an interesting, like, juxtaposition of beliefs, because how does the nihilism relate to believing in God?
Exactly, that's the thing. Like I said, it's always been a weird conflict, because, like, I don't call myself a Christian because I don't practice it, you know. I'm not a fucking hypocrite. These motherfucking people will get railed on Saturday and go into church at their Starbucks on Sunday and talk about how Christian they are, you know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like, I mean, you hear how much I cuss.
Sure.
I don't practice at all what I preach, but I don't preach. So that's how I accept it. Is that I believe that there is a higher power, and I believe that, honestly, there's no way I would be like as good at the things I am without some tipping. How do I say it? Like I'm trying to be vague, but honestly, I feel like my talents and my luck in life is God-given, but I also feel like I'm saying, in the grand scheme, it really doesn't matter. Right now, I'm 19. It might matter. I might be satisfied by the time I'm 40. But I don't talk about being a Christian because I don't think I am, because I don't practice it.
Sure.
But because I don't talk and preach to others what I think they should believe, because I think people should believe whatever the fuck they want. I don't try to force anyone's belief on anyone else, and because of that, because I don't talk about believing in God, I can accept the fact that I believe in Him, because I don't talk about it.
Sure.
To me, Martin Luther, he's the realest nigga of all time. Like, even more than Martin Luther King Jr. Because that dude, he said, fuck you to the crooked ass church. He was like, look, religion should be a relationship between your God and yourself. It should be what you believe in and yourself. There shouldn't be an entity in between that. That's how I feel about religion. I don't think that organized religion is okay, because I feel like people take advantage of naive people. People take people's money. They take advantage of what they believe in. And that's not cool. That's why Martin Luther was like the fucking best ever, because he said, fuck that. Like, you should have a relationship with what you believe in between that and yourself. You see what I'm saying?
So, I mean, you have a belief in God. You have a belief in Jesus.
Yeah.
What role does the Bible play to your beliefs?
Okay, here's the thing. No, I'm no avid reader of the Bible. And I do believe in God. And I think Jesus was a dude that existed that did a bunch of cool shit. Was it magic? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Maybe. But that stuff has been translated through so many different languages over so many different years. Word of mouth. That, like, we have no way to say what actually happened. To me, you're supposed to take the Bible figuratively and with a grain of salt of how to guide yourself to live like a morally right life.
Yeah. Or a pillar of salt. It's a Bible joke.
Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Okay. Continue.
What was I saying? I just checked the text and I just lost my train of thought. Oh, man, like, you should take it with a grain of salt. You should take it figuratively and use it at how to guide yourself instead of follow everything it legitimately says. Because, like, it contradicts itself quite a lot. This is coming from somebody who believes in God. And believes that, like, you know, Jesus fucking existed. Like, he was probably a really good person. I don't know if he did everything that's said in the Bible, but he was probably a really good dude.
Yeah.
Like, how are you gonna talk? How is it gonna talk about loving everyone, and then people turn around and like try to kill gay people?
Yeah.
And like that's not just a problem with Christianity. Fucking, that's what. Here's one thing I don't understand about like a bunch of liberal people in this country, and I'm saying that lightly. I'm saying that lightly because like I'm pretty centrist. Like I'm not left or right.
Sure.
But I have a problem with really hardcore like liberal like college girls and like how they fucking demonize Christians for, you know, not liking gay people, but like they try to like defend Islam at every turn, and Islam is probably like one of the more like primitive, fucked up religions on earth right now. Like those motherfuckers systematically oppress women.
Yeah.
Like I don't care what people say, like they're probably holding a gun to those women's heads when they say, "No, I love the hijab."
Yeah.
You can't talk about loving everyone and then go around and be like, stone someone for lying with another man. And like I said, I think everything is taken figuratively with a grain of salt. I think that if you really pay attention to the Bible, Old Testament God, you know, OG God, he was kind of an ass.
Yeah.
But New Testament God was like, nah, man, you know what? I love people. You know, it's weird. It's a weird, very weird thing. It's not something I'm a total expert on because, like I said, I'm not a practicing Christian. I don't read the Bible totally.
Sure.
But I know for sure that supposedly, when Jesus died, obviously if you read it, God became a lot more lenient about people. And I think honestly, the true, to me, what being a Christian should truly be about is treating everybody right and loving everyone no matter what. Yeah. And just being a good person. It's about being morally righteous. It's not about being morally snobby. Okay? And that's my problem with organized religion and a lot of hypocrites is like these fuckers are assholes. They lie about everything. They treat people wrong, and they give. I think like those are the people that really give religion a bad name.
Sure. So then, what sort of philosophy does guide what you do, at least morally?
I was thinking about this too recently. Well, you and me have talked in class before, passively, offhandedly, about being a sociopath. And, like, I kind of really am. And I was thinking recently about how despite being, like, almost emotionally gone, just mute, like, I don't feel anything, I don't feel remorse and all that. But, like, I think you can separate, like, how you feel about things from, like, your morals. So when I morally guide myself, I'm very indifferent about everything. And I try just to avoid conflict because I feel like, not because, like, I'm afraid of conflict, but because I feel like
it's inconvenient.
It's a waste of time. Like, there's so much more we could be doing than like bitching at each other. I try to treat everyone right. Is it because like I'm trying to be a good person? No. It's just because like that's just my natural tendency is to like be nice to people and treat everyone right. There's no like moral guide. It's just how I am. I feel like I wouldn't want people to fucking treat me like shit, so I might as well just be like cool with everyone. You feel me? Yeah. So that's what I mean about being morally indifferent. I'm kind of just like,
yeah. But I mean, since you don't like feel for other people, like I guess this just kind of goes with the whole argument against nihilism and moral nihilism, but like what's the point?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm very apathetic, but just because like I don't feel remorse if I treat people like shit doesn't mean I should. You know, it's like I think in an ideal world everyone can believe what they believe in, do what they want to do, and everyone would be happy, and no one's an ass to each other. You know what I mean? But yet, yeah, I feel like everything's pointless. But that doesn't. Yeah, I feel like everything is pointless. But it's not to say that you can't like enjoy while you're here, even though there's not a point. You can still find. Obviously, if you think there's not a point, you don't find a reason for stuff. But I feel like you can still enjoy it. I don't know.
Sure.
I know, like, what I'm saying is like completely contradicting itself. You know, I'm trying to go deeper and saying I don't care.
Yeah, no, I know, but like, and that's totally fine because that's just the way that you live your life.
Yeah.
So I mean, another question that I ask everyone on this is, what's the value of people to you?
What do you mean?
Value.
The value of people?
Yeah.
That's a very open-ended question.
That's the point.
I don't know. I hate talking to people. And that's not this interview. Like, I think about how much I hate talking to people, how much I hate social interaction. Like, how little. I choose to, like, minimize my social interaction completely. Like, I just don't talk to people.
Sure.
What was the question? I was going somewhere with that.
Value people.
The value of people. So, I don't like talking to people. I could care less about most people's lives, about anyone, barring my mother. I love you, Mom. I'm apathetic. So you think I don't give a goddamn about people's life, right?
Sure.
You think I just think that people have no value, but like it was like I was saying a couple minutes ago. I think everyone should have a chance to enjoy their life. So I think everyone's life is worth something.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves the chance to experience life. So everyone has value to me.
Yeah.
Even fucking shitty ass people like David Duke or Bashar al-Assad. Doesn't mean they deserve to die just because, you know, they gassed their own people or hang black people. They're assholes, but I'm not going to be the one to kill them.
Yeah. I mean, I ask a lot of moral questions because it's important for the world to be cohesive in some way.
Yeah.
Because it affects everyone.
Yeah.
So I mean, to even go specifically, like you said that you don't want those people to die, like morally, just killing all right?
Depends. When you like, how justified is taking somebody else's life? Am I prepared to fucking take someone's life? If I had to think about it, no. If I had to survive, yeah. If I was, you know, fucking destroyed and brainwashed like they do soldiers on the field, fearing for my life, hungry as shit, and the only thing between going home and dying is this dude's life, that's something you don't think about. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But if you think about taking somebody's life, that's a very hard. I think anyone would be met with a few moments to think, like, of struggle. You know what I'm trying to say? They would be left struggling what to do. Anyone. It doesn't matter how heartless they are. They would have to fucking think about it until they broke themselves.
Sure.
To not think. I know that's one argument of the death penalty. For me, I could give a shit less. I mean, I think that there are people who've done bad enough shit that in our justice system, yes, killing them would be correct. As far as if they've gone through trial and people are like, all right, this dude's done something bad enough that we as a country have decided that is penalized by death.
Yeah.
But that's not my decision until I'm on a jury.
Sure.
It's case by case. Yeah, it's case by case, man.
Yeah.
Like it's.
But there is a line.
There is a very fine line.
Okay.
It's a fine line that we can't see.
Yeah. How does your nihilism relate to your music?
I don't know. When I write music, like I don't think about like philosophy or what I'm really writing lyrically. I always think about like the music itself. I guess I've wrote some pretty weird, bleak stuff. That's like sonically, not lyrically. I think one of the last things I wrote lyrically that I really enjoyed was talking about how we as people have just we've become zombies, like because of our phones, and we're just stuck in like uploading constant bullshit to social media. It doesn't matter what kind of bullshit it is, pictures, statuses, whatever. It's just this shit, like, it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
I think this is where the nihilism comes in.
Yeah.
Like that kind of shit, everything people post, including every single thing I've ever put on social media, doesn't matter at all. And I feel like it's a fucking platform for people to be narcissists. It enables everyone. I'm a bit of a narcissist. I've had people telling me I had a God complex since I was like in the 7th grade. But I recognize all my problems. I feel like I always give myself the pass because like I recognize everything that's wrong with me, whereas most people just go about their lives being zombies, copying everyone else, and not thinking about what's wrong with them, and then like everything they do is bullshit.
Sure.
And a lot of that comes from fucking social media. Social media is the devil, man. That's the real devil. We had to find one and burn
it. But I mean, hey, it's still a place for our shit posts.
Well, that's because like I feel like people who shit post are either children or they're people who understand how dumb social media is, and like they just take the piss out of it. Those are the people I respect the most. Yeah.
But I mean, going back to music, like what is it that you want to explore in your music, both ideologically and musically?
Musically, it's like I was saying earlier. I want to combine a bunch of lost styles in new ways that I think would work together based off of my input. I don't know. My judgment. I think it would work. Ideologically, my favorite lyricist right now is MC Ride of Death Grips. And people say I write like him when I do write lyrics, and that's a compliment. But I would also like to like become my own style.
Sure.
Because like he's so out there at first, and then you like read into it, and you realize no, he's not really out there. He just says it in an out there way. He's like being very intelligent about it, and like the kind of stuff he writes about is just how dumb and hypocritical people are, and you know, primitivism as far as like everybody's primal urges and all shit like that. That's something I'd want to explore ideologically. I'd like to explore what's wrong with our political system, what's wrong with our fucking military-industrial complex, what's wrong with the world, shit like that. I mean, I'm not gonna fucking write about saving the trees and shit.
Fucking Bono.
What?
Fucking Bono.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, because I mean, you want to inspire people.
Yeah.
So like, what effect do you think your writing and your music would have on people based on what you're making?
I feel like the people I would inspire would be people like me who are inspired by those who dare to be different. And like, I mean actually different. Being a special snowflake. Someone who talks about the things that most people won't and says it in a way that most people won't. And they can see the genius in different things instead of something that's just blatant and in your face, I guess.
Yeah.
Was that an answer to your question?
Sure. What extent is your music like for you, and to what extent is it for everyone else?
Right now, it's totally 100% for me. I'm not writing for anyone. I feel like when I write and I play, it's to satisfy myself, and I don't stop until I can finally say, okay, I think I'm worthy of appraisal. I'm worthy of being considered a legend. I won't stop until that happens. It's totally for myself. If other people want to see, they can. I enjoy showing people my stuff because they want to see it, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But I do think that everything I do is for myself.
Yeah. But I mean, there is a level of like putting it out there is obviously a part of.
I mean, you have to get a crowd. You have to get an audience that enjoys your stuff. And I said in my business class in my first semester that, like, if somebody told me, if a bunch of people, not one person, but if a bunch of people say, hey, try doing this, I would love this. Like, if a bunch of people said they'd like me to do something, I suppose then that's when I would start, doing stuff for others. Mm-hmm. But for the moment, for the time being, on October 14th, 2016, when I'm 19 years old, right now, I'm doing everything for myself until I'm satisfied.
Yeah. I mean, to what extent is, like, selling music, I mean, it's just...
Is it a priority? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Not at all. Honestly, somebody was asking me, they had an assignment in their class, and it was something about music piracy, and they're like, it was asking, like, what side are you on, this or that, and he's like, well, I want to know your take on it, Chase, because, he's not a music major. He's like, I know you're way more into the what's going on, and I was like, if you had asked me before, I would have probably been like, it doesn't matter, I don't give a shit, but if you ask me now, I say that it shouldn't be tackled, like it shouldn't be like the government shouldn't try to solve music piracy, and one, that being it'd be too much of a waste of resources and time for them to track down all of that, and two, where do artists make most of their money? It's surely not fucking album sales, it's touring, it's playing shows, it's being signed, it's not selling the albums. There's basically no money in that. So to me, selling your music isn't the issue. It's selling your band to people to come see, selling your product for people to come view, to come listen to, not to actually like physically sell albums to people. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. It's not a priority at all. Yeah. Getting the listeners means everything, not the money. But I'm sure when I'm 40, I'll be like, man, why was I such a hardcore punk talking about fuck money, DIY? Yeah.
But I mean, then how do you make a living,
Gigging. That's different. To me, I'm in a position where I can play music to make money, to make a living. I can play the drums. To make music for myself, I don't need to make money.
Sure.
I can just put it out. We exist in an age where you don't have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Like, SoundCloud exists, man. As stupid as that sounds,
I have a SoundCloud.
Stuff like SoundCloud exists. And at any moment, somebody's going to find you and introduce you to every one of their friends. You know what I mean? That can happen at any moment. That's the world we live in now. It's not like back then where, like, you had to go through, like, hell to promote yourself.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, would you be fine just gigging all the time and nothing else?
Dude, as long as I'm playing music, I'm happy.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter to me. Because, like, I know that no matter what I'm doing for a living playing-wise, whether I'm fucking backing up the Rolling Bones when they're 120 or I'm playing in a dive bar, I'm playing music to make money. And you know what? That'd make me luckier than almost every motherfucker on the planet who's not doing what they love.
Yeah.
Because at least I know that I'll always be writing on the side for myself.
Yeah. Last question. What advice do you have for people?
What advice?
Yeah.
For what? For what topic? What do they need advice for? How to change a light bulb? Get a fucking ladder. That's the first step. Make sure everything's grounded. Turn the socket off.
For living their life.
I'd say shut out everyone else. Not like be like completely like not like be a shut in and be antisocial, but like if you want to do something, go fucking do it and don't listen to what other people say. Because, you know, somehow I had the problem of no one ever telling me in high school that pursuing a career in music was stupid. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that you need someone to tell you that you can't do something, but I also think that you don't listen to them when they say it, and instead you take that as a challenge.
Sure.
To go do what you love. You can do whatever you want if you put your mind to it, but just don't listen to people who say you can't do it. Yeah. You need someone to say it, but don't listen to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's excellent. At this point in time, do you have a place where people can listen to your music or go and find you on the internet? Are you a public person yet?
I have a couple things on SoundCloud that are cool and a couple things that are like shitposts or experimental. I guess I can say my SoundCloud link. But I also have a bunch of stuff that's like my actual like compositions, like songs that I've written. Mm-hmm. That's not on SoundCloud.
Sure.
That stuff's locked away right now. I think eventually I'll start posting stuff that I've written, but right now my SoundCloud is more things I've produced instead of things I've written.
Sure.
Yeah, my SoundCloud I think is the Hampton, which is C Hampton, and I think my avatar is Coil's album, The Ape of Naples, except he has a Christmas helmet or a Christmas hat on that I photoshopped. Yeah, there's like two or three cool things on my channel. Don't go back too far; you're gonna find some weird shit. I'd say if anyone's actually listening to this, go check out Running Out of Phone Space demo on my SoundCloud. That's probably my favorite beat I've ever made from sampling.
Cool. You have like a Twitter or social media?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
My Twitter is, it used to be Fresh Prince Enid, but right now my Twitter is at the Champton. And my name right now is Black Bastard. Now, my name itself, like my screen name, changes like every 2 days. But right now, my avatar is Sterling Morrison from the Velvet Underground playing guitar. Look how fucking badass that is.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, my Twitter's awesome. My bio is agradeço ao povo de música. It's Portuguese. I heard it in a song I really like.
I appreciate the dust of music.
The people of music.
People. Okay.
It's like the actual
Portuguese.
Do what?
I'm not too good at Portuguese.
Oh, that's fine. The actual lyric I'm quoting is like "Eu agradeço ao povo brasileiro," which is I appreciate the people of Brazil. Is what it originally said, but I made it the people of music because I'm edgy. And no one's ever gonna translate it.
Nice. Except for just now.
Yeah, except me. My pinned tweet is me being retweeted by Little B because me and the valedictorian were cooking at our graduation. Shout out to Little B, thank you, bass god.
You got any other plugs? You good? All right. I'm Santiago Ramones. You can find all the stuff that I do on santiagoramones.com, which will take you to my music and this podcast. And you can also feel free to contact me there if you want to ask any questions or ask to be on the podcast. I don't know.
That's what I did.
Yeah, exactly. It's just santiagoramones.com. And I end every podcast with my 3 things, which are love never fails, it's going to be okay, I might be wrong. Thanks for listening.